Dave Navarro is both a successful rock star and actor and television personality host. Tomorrow you can see Dave judging tattoo work, something he has a lot of first-hand experience with, on the season premiere of Ink Master, and this is a show that Jody watched. She has some few tats. The show airs Tuesdays at 10 o'clock on Spike TV. You've probably also seen him recently on Law & Order SVU, Sons of Anarchy, or Naked on a Billboard supporting PETA. Not naked on a billboard, but a naked picture of him, I assume.
You're right.
Dave Navarro, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. How are you, Dave?
I'm really good. Thanks for the kind introduction. I'm afraid to say anything. I don't want to ruin it. That was beautiful.
So when you hear your "This Is Your Life" introduction, you go, "Yeah, that's not so bad."
I don't really. It's very surreal. It's surreal to hear that.
Is it really surreal to like package?
Kind of take on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all like different. The thing that I'm most proud of and that I love and identify with the most is Jane's addiction. I'm no actor for sure. I enjoy working in different fields and having being thrown outside of the comfort zone. I think it's inspiring and a lot of fun. But yeah, music's my thing. I'll never stop being a guitar player.
So when you act, when you get, say, a role on Sons of Anarchy, for a couple episodes, or when you are in SVU or whatever, do you feel like you're an extra who's like bringing your fans to the show, and maybe it's just a show you love that you're getting to be a part of?
It's generally speaking, like when it came to the Law and Order and the Sons of Anarchy, I was the people at the show reached out to me.
Right.
It's not like I'm going on. I mean, actors across the country are going to hate me for this, but it's not like I'm going out on auditions and trying to become an actor. I've been reached out to and looked at some lines and come in there and just do the best they can and have a good time. And in both cases, Law and Order is something I grew up watching. That that was a staple in my home, and certainly Sons of Anarchy is a show that I've been watching since day one.
Right.
And they're just really cool groups of people, really cool environments, and not a lot of time commitment. For a couple of days.
The ideal job.
Actors are going to hate you.
They are going to hate you for that. I didn't have to work very hard at all, and I don't even have to be good.
They paid me a lot
and they
more
pay
than
me.
the scale.
Dave, when you're like,
the point is, go ahead.
No, it's cool. We don't want to interrupt you, but when you're at Sons of Anarchy, they're excited. It's cool. They get to meet you. Are you the same way? Like, I get to meet the guy who plays Jax.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the show. I mean, either way. So, even if I was an extra, like you brought up earlier, it's an honor to work with those people, and they're really talented. And Kurt Sutter, the creator, is an incredible genius, and
right.
I thank those guys a lot. And they've, I got the opportunity to work with Jimmy Smits, who's such an incredible actor. I mean, one thing I can tell you about working with Jimmy Smits is that when I was in a scene with Jimmy Smits where he was angry in the scene, and he was so convincing in the moment that I assumed he was actually angry at me,
yeah.
Dave.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we would cut, and I'd be like, "Jimmy, is everything cool? Am I pissing you off?" He's like, "No, what do you mean?
No, it's just
this is the show."
Yeah.
Real crash course in like what real great talented actors are like, and those guys are incredible.
Dave Navarro.
And they all do their own physical.
Yeah.
They all do their own physical stunts and stuff. So I mean, you got to really hand it to them. They work hard.
Dave Navarro, you described yourself. You said that rock is your thing. Rock star is your thing. I don't know if you like the term rock star or not.
I didn't say that, but okay.
Yeah, I said that, which I'll just push on you.
I appreciate it. I think that it's okay for other people to say that, but I don't think it's okay for musicians to say that about themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And yet, in the same sentence here, you kind of got snubbed, didn't you, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's kind of weird. Yeah.
It is weird, but at the end of the day, I'm from day one a Jane's Addiction member, and I'm still a Jane's Addiction member, and that's my home, and that's my band, and, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
You move on.
And probably the most important thing we didn't put in your intro is what we should have said. Jane's Addiction will be at the Gorge on September 7th, at the most beautiful concert venue in America.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's what we're saying.
And you had a detour, but you came back. Now, I read a quote about you, and this will get around to the tattoos here because this is your show. I read a quote about you when you were talking about your tattoos, and you said you have some brilliant ones, some wonderful works of art, and some that you got while basically wandering around kind of high out of your mind that were bad decisions. And first question, how many total tattoos do you have, and which one is the worst decision?
Oh, God, I don't know how many I have. Probably the worst. There's a tribal band on one of my arms. It's just god awful, and that wasn't even one of the drugged ones. That was just a badly done.
That was a clear-minded decision gone bad.
The worst sober decision of your life. Yeah.
Probably one. No, I made much worse sober decisions. that was probably one of the worst tattoo-oriented sober decisions.
Got it.
I mean, you know, that's par for the course. I think, you know, I've been collecting since '88, '89, and you know, I've had a very colorful life. Even some of those decisions, like I think the quote you're talking about, where I said I was wandering around unfamiliar towns, loaded on heroin.
That's right. Yeah.
Walking into a tattoo shop seemed like a good idea, and like you don't know the artist, you don't know what they're good at, and you just kind of go in and get something, and you know. Even the bad ones have great memories attached to them, you know? So sometimes you got to look at it that way.
I think it's interesting that when I asked you for a number, you didn't even give me an approximation. It was like, I don't have time to count all. Like, it's your body. Would you need many mirrors to count?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's not about that. Like, you know, because I first of all, I haven't counted, and it's just that's not something I need to know.
What was your first tattoo, Dave? Everybody remembers their first one.
I do remember my first, and I went into, fortunately, my first one was done by Bob Roberts at Spotlight Tattoo in L.A., and I was about 17, I think. And he's one of the greats, certainly one of the first in Los Angeles, and I've been around forever. So that was a good call. And ever since that first time, I pretty much became addicted to the whole process. I mean, the art and the artistry and all that is pretty incredible, but I'm also a huge fan of the culture, of hanging around the shops, of talking to the artist, hearing the stories. You know, there's just so much more that goes into the overall experience than just the tattoo. And I think the people who really get that are the ones that walk away kind of addicted.
Right. On Ink Master, 16 top tattoo artists battle it out in permanent ink. This is not, you know, temporaries, for a $100,000 grand prize, an editorial feature in Inked, and of course the bragging rights of Ink Master, and probably lots of business for their whole career. We had a couple questions about. Jody watched your first season. We had a couple questions about how this works, though. When you do a tattoo and everybody competes, the one who does the worst one or the one voted the least liked gets voted out. What happens to the person who got that ink? Do they get condolences? Do they get a cake?
They get a year. They get a year's supply of turtle wax.
It's a turtle wax.
They go to Cake Boss. It makes them a cake.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we were talking amongst ourselves, and obviously there's our top tattoo artists who are doing the tattoos, but when somebody loses...
Well, let me ask you this. If you walked into a shop and didn't know the artist and got something that wasn't good, what would you do?
Have them redo it.
Because that's the same thing that happened. Yeah, that's the same thing. I mean, you know, it's up to them. That's what makes the show compelling for me is watching the canvases. Certainly it's compelling to watch the artists do the great work that they do and hopefully root for a winner. But it's also, I mean, the people that come on the show are taking a huge risk because There's no solution. You go in and you get a bad tattoo. That's it.
Dave, you talked about
Thank
some of
you
the
for
stuff,
playing.
some of the stuff you've got. Have you had anything covered up?
Yeah, I've had a few things covered up. It depends on what you get. I mean, some things can cover up easy, other things cannot. You know, if you got a real heavy black, bold, strong, bad piece you want covered up.
Tribal band comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that I might just have to black that thing out and go and do some branding over it, and get it out that way. But I mean, I'm not that worried about it. But I think that one of the things that's compelling about the program is that if someone gets a bad tattoo, they have a bad tattoo. What they want to do with it is on them.
Speaking of black, I have one
know what I
question that needs an answer, Dave. This is very important. The tank tops that you wear, the black tank tops.
Yes.
What is the brand? I must have some.
Are you serious?
I am 100% serious. I love the tank top.
I don't know. Let me take a look.
Take it off.
There you go.
You know you're wearing one right now. Man.
Bangladesh or
know
He
China.
is too. He's taking it off.
Dave has a favorite tank top. If you watch the show, you can see. I'm not saying he's wearing
He's
the
like
same one every
Steve
day,
Jobs,
but-
who wore the same turtleneck all the time.
Yes, and the fit is a
I
great
did-
fit.
There really is something to that. I'll tell you. There's a few. I've always, when it comes to like wardrobe and stuff on that show, and certainly in my life, like the less thinking, the better. As far as I'm concerned, like I find something that I like. Like right now, I'm really into this company called Eunice that makes really cool black sleeveless T-shirts with great graphics on them. And when I find something I like, I just kind of stick with that until I get bored of it.
I know it.
It's much like it's much like the turtleneck thing or the Albert Einstein school of having 10 of the same suits so he doesn't have to spend the time thinking about what he's going to wear. I don't know.
Well, they would love it if you would come out to their factory and sit and make some tank tops with them. They'd be super honored to have you there.
What's nice is that what started out as a dig with me likened me to Steve Jobs and Albert Einstein. So there you go.
That was not a dig. I was being serious.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know him, but yeah. I mean, I've probably got about 30 of those things.
Cool.
And you're welcome to them.
Dave Navarro. Dave, Ink Master Season 3 premiere airs Tuesday, 10 o'clock on Spike TV. Dave, all the best to you. Congratulations on everything.
Hey, likewise, guys. Thanks for having me. Good morning, okay?
Bye.